Hi, my name is Jane White. I'm a sales engineer here at Netchex. Netchex is a cloud based payroll and HR system that is built for hourly workers but works for everyone. I have about 25 years of experience in this industry, and over the years have worked pretty consistently with community banks and wanted to highlight for you some of the main themes I see on why Netchex is such a good partner in the community bank space. The first thing to kind of understand is we look a lot like you. What we found over the years is the big box legacy providers have really created a gap in the market that NetChex has been able to fill. Where small to mid-sized businesses are really left without a partner that gives them the service that they expect, and so we've been able to fill that gap with the same sort of love and support that you as a community bank provide your customers day in and day out. We use the same technology that we sell, and I think that's really important to understand. We're not so large that we've got systems that are much bigger, that where our HR department is managing our staff on a different system. So because we use this technology day in and day out, our new hires are onboarding through the same application that we would have your employees do that. We just tend to understand and service the technology that we sell better than anyone else. When it comes to service, I often talk to the big people that are using a big box provider or legacy provider, and it's often like, when was the last time they called you to see if you're okay as a client? The real difference with us is the proactive versus reactive support that we give accounts through our account management program. So a dedicated person that will be focused on regular check-ins to make sure that utilization of the system is where it needs to be. There's no struggles that you're having. You'll have a day-to-day service, US-based service team, but this account management role really is something that our community banks appreciate when they can kind of build a relationship there and have a point of escalation of strategy when they need it. When it comes to the technology, we partner or compete rather day in and day out against the big box retailers. I actually worked for one for about 18 years of my career. And so head to head, we have a great technology. And where we're really known in the market is just having a system that flows together well. It's easy to use so that it gets utilized by all of your employees, your managers, and your administrators. Some key themes that, again, I've seen in the community bank space is we're very focused on how our technology can support a decentralized workforce. Very important. If you've got multiple locations, banks are concerned about compliance consistency. Are things getting missed when we hire a teller at one branch versus another? Where if we had some tools to manage that and make sure that nothing falls through the cracks, nothing gets missed, everybody's going to be onboarded the same. I'll kind of show you that in action when we look at the demo. We are definitely an application that is above and beyond just payroll. Yes, we want to give you a system to accurately get your folks paid with an integrated timekeeping module, but heads and tails above that, our community banks appreciate our employee self-service experience is really geared towards employee engagement, training and development to keep those employees thriving. And if they're engaged, they're more productive, they're going to stay long term and turnover less. Community banks also love our insights tools. We've got tons of standard reports, tons easy ways to pull custom reports, but our insights dashboard, which I'll show you, is really a difference maker for organizations like community banks who really just need data at their fingertips easily to make the better decisions and move the organization forward. And then again, another theme I typically see with community banks is that you're just very compliance focused, whether that's, again, the proper paperwork filled out during onboarding so that your cash handling procedures are documented and all the signatures needed for audits are captured. But we want to give you tools for accurate tax filing through our tax suggestion functionality, helping employees know when they're eligible for benefits, making sure you're in compliance with ACA reporting, unlimited document storage, and then even little nuance things that I come into with banks around being able to make sure that you're compliant in the way you pay your non-discretionary bonuses. Not all banks know that there's a certain overtime premium that must be calculated when a non-discretionary bonus is paid, and we have a way to make sure that you're in compliance with that guideline and making sure that you're doing that correctly. So let's kind of take a look at the application and some of these things in action. It all starts with onboarding. Community banks really strive to create compliant, consistent processes, especially if they've got more than one location. And Netchex helps with that effort. So here, an employee can log into the system and see exactly what they need to do, whether that's filling out tax forms, direct deposit, or unique banking documents that are so key to compliance based on the position or the department that they're joining. So in this case, a teller would see everything that they need to see versus maybe someone in the mortgage lending department might have other documents for compliance that they need to fill out. They can meet people they're going to be working with to kind of have a nice welcoming experience. And all of this can be done from a mobile device. In terms of managing the consistency across locations, yes, the employee needs to know everything they need to do in one comprehensive task list. But Netchex can also automate who else needs to know that that person has started and what they need to be accountable to do, so that the bank can assume that everybody that's hired as a teller across their locations is handled the exact same way. They are issued the right technology, the right physical location access, all of those things that could fall through the cracks or be very manual and time consuming to manage and babysit to make sure that they're happening as needed. So in this case, IT is automatically notified of this new hire and what they may need to do for her. Her manager is automatically assigned tasks as well. So again, that consistency of process across locations our banking clients love. This could be even reversed when people leave the organization. So now someone is being offboarded. What does IT need to do in that case? Probably get them out of the certain systems like the email server, et cetera. Maybe getting physical keys back and security system access eliminated, as well as things that the manager might need to be doing, like an exit interview. So we really help the banks succeed in this area right from the start. Netcheck's banking clients love the fact that we have an employee experience that employees actually love to use. So here, as we visualize our mobile app, yes, this is where people can punch in and out, access their W-2s, their pay statements, or even request time off. But there's much more built into the employee experience that keeps employees engaged in a variety of ways. And all the studies that talk about engagement show that if an employee is more engaged with their work life, they are going to be more productive. They are going to stay longer and be less likely to leave than the employee that is disengaged. So there's a variety of ways that we kind of boost that engagement strategy for our banking clients. One of the most unique ways we do that is with a feature called Ask HR. So there's always a variety of questions that come fast and furious when you're managing employees. Policy questions, operating procedure questions, benefit questions. And Ask HR is a huge way to empower employees with information, and empowered employees are engaged employees. So clients can load all documentation that they want referenced in this tool for the AI assistant to provide answers. So think about employee handbooks, operating procedures. How do we open and close the bank every evening? How do I cash out my or audit my drawer as a teller at the end of every shift? Those types of questions, or benefit questions and the like, can all be answered based on the documentation that our banking clients have loaded. So those repetitive questions like, when is our Christmas holiday? that's something that is referenced in the handbook, but maybe the employee can't find the handbook. Maybe they don't feel like they've got enough time to look at that. Instead of trying to hunt down their manager and the manager having to answer that question for the fifth time, the AI assistant can just answer the question directly from for the employee. So here's another example of how an employee can get help. Maybe there's an operating procedure about how they need to greet customers when they come into the bank. That type of training can be built right into the system to give the employee a checklist of things that they need to remember to do. And maybe this helps them to just better get off the bench and start working with the customers more effectively, more quickly, because they've got all the help they need right within the Netchex app. Engagement extends to other areas of the employee experience. Engaged employees feel heard, and Netchex provides a way to push out employee surveys so that the employee can maybe get an engagement survey and gauge their satisfaction with leadership, with feeling like they're being rewarded at work, how they feel about their manager, and so forth. So this feedback can go straight to the folks that need to understand the dynamics of this feedback and make decisions based on it. But the employee feels heard right through the same place that they go to for everything else. Engagement is all about being able to celebrate and recognize employees for a job well done. So automatically, Netchex provides those types of engagement tools for the celebrations that go on throughout the bank, birthday acknowledgments, new hires being welcomed into the organization, maybe work anniversaries being celebrated. So those don't fall through the cracks where a manager just gets too busy, they forgot to recognize these folks. They're automatically getting push notifications that they're being celebrated. And there's also opportunities for folks to give feedback right from the application, pats on the back in terms of maybe dealing with a difficult customer or a difficult situation. Alexandra can get this notification, and everybody else can see it on their recognition feed, pile on the praise. And now you've got an employee that feels more recognized for the hard work that she's doing and thus more engaged. There's also opportunities for engagement around anonymous feedback, kind of cultivating a culture of workplace safety. And in banking, that's certainly important for compliance around, cash theft, other things, that are really compliance heavy in the banking industry. So the Netchex application provides a way for anonymous reporting. People can report incidents on, hey, I saw this happen, but they don't want their name tied to it. But it gives them an opportunity to, in an anonymous way, feel like they've got at least a vehicle to, again, cultivate that safe work environment. And of course, engagement is all about performance and feedback. Within the Netchex application, we have multiple ways to manage performance, whether that's individual or team departmental goal setting. That is something that is fundamental to an employee feeling engaged. They can go in and notate or create different key metrics or results that they want to be measured by. And a unique coach in the flow is going to make sure that what they're writing in terms of a goal is actually an effective, measurable goal that can be attained. So if I was to say here, I want to improve customer service. Sounds great, but maybe the coach in the flow will give me some better suggestions on how to create a goal that is more effective for the organization. So it's going to provide me a way to rephrase things. So maybe, hey, they're the analysis is pretty good here, but maybe there's a different way that I could rephrase this, and it gives me some suggestions here where it's a little bit more measurable in terms of metrics or other response time details that might be more specific to the goal that I'm trying to achieve. There's also the ability, obviously, to manage those kind of one-on-one interactions that are helpful for managers. There can be agendas that are set. Kind of gone are the days of only doing a sit down once a year. These younger generations in the workforce demand more constant feedback, and so the one-on-ones is a great way to do that. There's also ways to document disciplinary actions or even points violations based on attendance rules. And then, of course, we have very customizable review cycle flows that can kind of bring everything together in one place, whether that's goals that are going to be reviewed, whether that is questions that are going to be answered. All of those things can be kind of managed from one single experience. And uh, again, that coach in the flow is there. So if I'm a manager and I'm being asked, what challenges does this individual have? I can look at what Charlie said about himself in his self review. But, as I'm making a note, maybe he is doing a good job. The coach in the flow can give me more suggestions about how this particular feedback comment can be more effective. So we use the coin methodology where it's lacking context, impact, and next steps. It's very observational, and it's going to give me an opportunity to reanalyze this as a good effective feedback for Charlie. Our insights dashboard tells a story of key topics in the organization that are critical to understand the who and the why behind certain trends and help helpful information to make good decisions. So we've told the story of turnover, of labor information like what is being spent on wages or timekeeping hours, and the people or benefits that make up your organization. And so for each of these dashboards, instead of doing a labor intensive export of data and then dumping it into Excel and figuring out like what does it actually mean, we have told the story in this example of turnover. How many people have left the company over a certain period of time? What job titles are turning over the most? What departments or managers have the most turnover? So there's a wonderful kind of graphical representation of this data, but also abilities to extract this data in Excel and dig deeper in any particular story. So if I'm, a bank that has multiple locations, maybe I want to look at turnover by the different business units and positions within my organization. Insights gives you the ability to change the visual to represent what you want to see for your decision making, even filter data further. So if you wanted to look at the reasons for turnover being a certain reason, or I want to look at maybe other add other information to this filter in terms of date ranges or based on tenure, age of the people turning over. All of these filter options are available. So I can really get to the meat of what is needed to understand what are the trends around the turnover that I'm experiencing. Is it a particular position? Is it a manager that has too many direct reports? And so all of those things are interconnected in a meaningful way. If I was to look at different data on wage spend, maybe I need to understand that detail, understand how people fit within the either the Bureau of Labor Statistics averages for my area or internally, how are these people being benchmarked against other positions? So all of this data is at clients' fingertips, and banking clients in particular love the ability to kind of look at their data in this way and quickly make decisions based upon it. Netchex keeps our banking clients compliant with all things payroll and HR, from suggested tax alerts. So, based on the employee's work and home location, if there's little nuances of residential state taxes or local jurisdictions that you're not familiar with, the system is going to automatically alert you to the tax assignment suggestions that need to be set up for this employee so you can make sure that each and every payroll, the right taxes are remitted to the right agency. And finally, our employee bonus calculator right within the payroll application is going to ensure that banking clients, if they do pay a non-discretionary bonus, that there is a compliant calculation of overtime premium due to them. So they can easily walk through this wizard to make sure that that is part of the payroll and that they don't get out of compliance with that requirement. These are just some of the reasons that Netchex is an amazing partner to community banks.